Finally, the time has come. You no longer have to choose between conventional medicine and alternative medicine. Today, unlike years past, your team of doctors from all disciplines are working together side by side for the benefit of you, the patient, to help you regain your health and cross the bridge.
Hello, welcome to the Bridge to Health. My name is Dr. Tom Dow, and I've been a practicing doctor of chiropractic for the past 32 years. Most patients go to their doctors and go to many different types of doctors, and those doctors rarely or seldomly communicate with one another, which is very important if you're to receive the best health care from your treating doctors. Our offices on Long Island have many different healthcare disciplines all under the same roof, working as a team to offer our patients the best possible care as a team. This weekly program will feature certain guests from many different disciplines, both conventional and alternative medicine, and you will understand what each of these practitioners does in their practices and how each of these practitioners works together as a team to help you, the patient. Our first guest on our first show is Dr. David Gentile. Hi, Dr. Gentile.
How you doing, Dr. Dow?
Dr. Gentile, we've worked in the past together on many different occasions. Can you just tell the audience a little bit about what we've done?
Yeah, we've had some great experiences together. So, Dr. Dow, when I met you, right off the bat, I knew we should figure out how to work together, and we did that quite successfully. For a while, what we did is had a great reciprocal consulting relationship where you did the chiropractic end, I did my end with the integrative medicine. I think we had some amazing patient outcomes on that, so I was really happy about that.
And Dr. Gentile, 40 years ago, were physicians such as yourself, right, family health physicians. Were they communicating and talking with alternative care practitioners such as acupuncturists, chiropractors? Was that a common thing 40 years ago?
It definitely wasn't. As a matter of fact, quite the inverse. I think they were probably running scared. I mean, as soon as they heard supplements, acupuncture, massage, anything, even chiropractic and osteopathic treatment, the typical quote-unquote mainstream docs kind of ran to the other end of the spectrum. These days, I get referrals, as I'm sure you do, from doctors who don't do integrative medicine because they know their patients are going to go find it anyway. And that's what I think the industry is changing quite a bit, and it's only for the patient's benefit.
Right. I mean, on a daily basis, I'm on the phone with spinal surgeons who I refer people to if necessary.
Yes.
They refer patients back to me as a chiropractor for people who aren't surgical candidates. I'm on the phone with general surgeons if I pick up a possible appendicitis in the office or a hernia. We communicate our findings back and forth. I've actually had these doctors in my office going over CAT scans and MRIs with our patients together. I mean, it's rare, or has been rare, that you'll see practitioners in different disciplines actually getting together and consulting.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what your board certifications are, what your practice involves?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I'm board certified in family medicine, osteopathic manipulative medicine, and medical acupuncture. But I went well beyond that, and I wanted to get a little bit more under my belt, so I got diplomated in integrative holistic medicine. I also got diplomated in anti-aging and regenerative medicine. So you know what I feel, Doc, is I can bring so many tools to the table to a patient's encounter.
Right. You know what impressed me the most about you, Dr. Gentile, when I first met you, when I went to your office, is I walked in and you were actually hands-on manipulating a patient in one of the rooms. Yeah. And I said to myself, being a chiropractor for 32 years and all my training extensively in hands-on work and manipulation, I said to myself, oh my God, the medical profession is finally got it and they're doing what we do and I have always done.
Yes.
Tell me about your success with your manipulative hands-on therapy as a physician, like a family doctor. Tell me about that.
You know, Tom, I always say this to patients, to aspiring other doctors. I said, if I wasn't an osteopathic physician, I don't think I would have met my true goal in helping people, because to do hands-on medicine as we do, it's a blessing. It's also a way to connect with a patient in a way, because they know you care. I love treating things from, headaches, back pain, shoulder pain, TMJ, knees, wrists, you name it. But the thing with the hands-on is there's so many ways you can interface that. So I'm not just always using my script pad. I'm not always just using a syringe. I'm not always just using a nutraceutical, but I can actually use my hands as you do, and patients do benefit in every which way. For example, if I had a patient that came in with a raging sinus infection, yes, they'd need antibiotics. Maybe they need a nutraceutical to buffer their immune system and a probiotic, but then I'm going to put my hands on. I'm going to open up the cervical lymph nodes. I'm going to do a little sinus drainage. And I mean, you treated me, right, and I know you got the hands of a saint. And I think that's important too. People have to understand that. It's not just a relationship with a doctor, but if they're going to be a hands-on manual medicine doctor, they got to have the right hands.
Right. And it's funny because you've also treated me and I treated you, physician to chiro. And what's interesting, we also worked together in 2 ambulatory surgical centers,
yes,
doing manipulation under anesthesia,
yes,
in the OR together. And that was a trip working with you in that. That was so much fun. We had some great results from some of our most of our patients. And what's really interesting is when I'm in these surgery centers a lot, the anesthesiologist wants to get adjusted. The orthopedist, yes, who just did 8 knee surgeries, he, yes, wants me to put my hands and work on them. The nursing staff wants to get adjusted. So this is like, to me, after starting 32 years ago, when these people didn't even want to talk to me,
yes,
it's such a gratifying revelation that finally,
yes,
everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
There's no more of those prejudice or stereotypes anymore. And on the other hand, years ago, when a patient went to a physical therapist or a chiropractor, or a patient went to an orthopedist or a chiropractor, one would badmouth the other.
Right, right.
The ortho or the physical therapist would say, you don't need a chiropractor, don't go to them. The chiropractor would say, you don't need an ortho, don't go to physical therapy. All you need to do is get adjusted. Yeah. What we've found out that works is that if we can take a la carte,
yes,
like you just said, yes, sinus infection, it may be so bad they may need an antibiotic. But also, if the second cervical vertebra is rotated, which affects the nerve flow going directly to the sinuses, exactly, they can benefit from that too.
Exactly.
And if they need a vitamin or supplement, that'll help them get it better. So what we're doing now, which is so marvelous and wonderful, yeah, is our patients are getting the best of everything and not one or the other anymore.
Yes.
You agree?
I absolutely agree. And my practice is Oasis Integrative Medicine. And Doc, the reason I renamed it from just my namesake is because when you walk into my office, it is an oasis. People just get relaxed. So before you even see me, I think the healing starts. You walk in the front door, we have fresh flowers. The staff greets you with a smile.
Nice.
We don't have plastic screens and the old sliding windows. How can I help you? Sit down, I'll be right with you.
You got that idea from the chiropractic offices.
Yeah, right? But integrative medicine is what we're doing.
Right.
So it's taking the best of all the tools out there and making sure every tool is available to a patient. And I love the team approach. I was Associate Director of Medical Education at North Shore LIJ, and actually that's the way I built my practice, is I treated the staff, nurses, doctors, surgeons, administrators, you name it, and they became the spokesperson for what I did. Mm-hmm. And when you round in a hospital, it's a team approach. But what happens is that's not carried out in the office, and that's where you and I have that passion to stay in touch with other practitioners.
Yes.
So it is almost like doing morning rounds, except you're doing it office to office, phone to phone, etc.
Right, right.
And I don't think you miss the diagnosis. You don't miss the treatment plan when you confer. To me, I think that's lost. It's a lost art of medicine.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the more information you have as a doctor, a teacher once told me while I was in school that the best doctor is the one who listens the best. Most doctors, I'm sure most patients, not most, but some doctors, their experience is, wow, the guy didn't even let me talk.
Yes.
He just kept asking me questions and only wanted to have the answers to his questions. And I was in and out of the room in 2 or 3 minutes, and I never had a chance to even say anything about myself. Where I think we found out from having close contact with our patients that the best doctors are the best listeners. Because 90% of my diagnosis, Dave, I don't know about you, I make it just without even examining them first.
You threw out the exact percentage I was going to say. And when I had interns and residents coming in on their first day to do hospital training, part of our orientation was one thing: the patient always comes first. But that 90%, if you listen, and that is a fact, we just confirm stuff with MRIs and blood work and tests. If you are a practitioner that really takes pride in listening and asking the right why questions, I love the question why. Why? Because if I can't answer why that's happening to a patient, I'm never going to get that diagnosis. So I love that. 90%, and you're on the mark with that.
Right. And getting back to that, that whole feeling when a patient walks into one of our offices, I tell my front desk staff that they are just as important in helping this patient cross that bridge to health as our doctors are. Because you only have one chance to make a first impression. And their first impression when they walk in that office, whether that carpet is clean, whether the staff is friendly, whether they're smiling, or you get somebody behind the desk that says, "I'll be right with you," and they shut the window.
Right.
That's where the healing starts, is at that front desk. And my staff, thank God, I have a wonderful staff.
You do.
In all of my offices. It took a long time to find them, but I thank God I have them every day because they help me get people well.
Well, you know, too, we have a policy in my office. I mean, I love my staff. They're very passionate. They really are there for the patient first and foremost. They're there for me, but they're there for the patient. But we do have a policy. If you come in and you're sour somehow, I'm going to send you home paid for one day. If you can't come back with an attitude adjustment the next day, just stay home on your own. So I will pay one of my staff, and they get paid pretty well, unfortunately for me. I will send them home paid. Go work it out. You want to talk to me in my office and come back out smiling? Great. If you can't, go home. Go for a walk on the beach, because my patients need the support of my staff.
Right. Well, that's how important it is. It's extremely important. I want to hear a little bit more about your board certifications. You're board certified in family medicine. What does that mean? Tell me what that means.
Well, family medicine I chose to do because it's birth to geriatrics, right? So we are trained in OB-GYN, pediatrics, internal medicine, surgery, so many broad spectrum things, emergency medicine. As an integrative doc, I wanted to know a little bit of everything so that when a patient comes in, though I may not do surgery or I may not deliver a baby, at least I was trained to know what to do or when to refer. And that, to me, is important. Yeah,
it's funny. When I was in school, they told me that with all the big textbooks that we read and all the Krebs cycle and biochemistry and everything we study, we're lucky as doctors if we remember 2 or 4% of that.
I believe.
But we'll know where to find it.
Right.
If we need to reference it.
That's correct.
So that's kind of what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Right? Tell me a little bit about your other board certifications. Go ahead. I know you have a few others.
Yeah. So osteopathic, goes along with family medicine. Doing the hands-on, and acupuncture I did because I wanted to have another tool that wasn't too invasive. But the two I'm probably most proud of, and I think brought me to the level where I am in my practice, was I got diplomated in the American Academy of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine. So that's an organization and a board that really embraces integrative medicine, but it takes it into the next, I'd say like the next 100 years of medicine. We're approaching is, what can we do to have longevity, to have vitality? Right. So I'm writing a book right now, Finding Your True Vitality.
Nice.
I do podcasts, about that. The Vital Life with Dr. Dave. I love the word vitality because we could look healthy maybe we could feel healthy, maybe we try, but when we're vital in all facets of our health,
right,
that's when you've really achieved a great posture.
So on our next show, which will be following this one, we're going to focus on anti-aging medicine and go more into that.
That'll be great.
I want to hear more about the nutritional work you do now.
Okay, that's something I take great pride in. So, I was a chef previously. We'll send some pictures out and put them on your website and Facebook if you want. So I am a chef by training. I've been in the restaurant business. I've owned some. But to me, food is passion. To me, food is not just a way to get calorics in, but it's a way to share, to get healthy. So I cook so much. I have a cooking show, which it's called The Good Life with Dr. Dave. So it's a double entendre.
Where is that show broadcasting?
Mostly on FiOS Network right now. And I got a great producer, Archie Snowden, and he brings out the passion of that show. And it's fun. It's fun. But I do nutraceuticals.
What are nutraceuticals?
Okay.
I've heard vitamins, mineral supplements. Tell me what nutraceuticals are. What's the difference?
That's a great question. So nutra, as in nutrients, ceuticals, so as when we say pharmaceutical.
Right.
So we're just taking nutra and ceutical, putting it together. So it differs than just going to a retail shop where you're going to get a vitamin that you don't know the quality, the effect, or even the reason for it. So nutraceutical acts as a pharmaceutical with the safety profile of a nutrient. So for example...
are they pharmaceutical grade?
Yes. That's a great
Explain
question.
to our audience what pharmaceutical grade means.
Okay, great. So I am on the board of directors, as I told you, for one of the largest nutraceutical companies in the country and world. It's called Zymogen. So when you go there, and I'd like you to come down to Florida one day to the plant. It's a great experience. You feel like you're in a spaceship. I mean, once you cross, there's negative pressure rooms. Everything is actually higher standard than pharmaceutical.
Wow.
To the point...
Higher than the drug-making companies?
Yes.
More sterile, more...
Everything.
Wow.
Now, even the safety profile. So every bottle that leaves that facility has a QR code on it, and it's also got a sprayed ink-jetted code, which the pharmaceutical market does not have to meet that commitment until 2000. Don't quote me. I think it's 17 or 18. We're doing it. So if you get a bottle of supplement, we can track it back. Now, here's why we did that. Nutraceuticals are often what we call bootlegged or knocked off. So we don't sell anything on the internet. Everything is through a healthcare practitioner, chiropractors, physicians, nutritionists, acupuncturists. Right. Why? Because we don't want people getting a hold of the wrong supplement for the wrong reason. Right. But what I like about the nutraceutical industry and the way we're going with it is, if done right. For example, when we get our shipment of raw ingredients in, they get quarantined until we've tested that for everything. Is there any contaminants? Is there 100% of what we were looking for in that product? We even check for things like mold or allergens. So unless you're getting pharmaceutical grade, I think you're taking your health at risk.
So it's been in the newspapers and the media very recently.
Yes.
About the FDA wanting to crack down. They did crack down on a lot of these companies that are producing vitamins because they found that when they analyzed them, what they claimed to be in them was not in them. Yes. And even worse than that, there were things in some of them which were not healthy and dangerous. Yes. So what you're telling me is that your company that you work with and or consult with, they have higher standards than regular pharmaceutical companies that make drugs. So the vitamins I have in my office, the vitamins you have in your office, Zymogen's the name, correct? We are, as practitioners, we know that everything that it says on that label is in there, 100%, and it's totally sterile, totally safe. Exactly. Exactly. Excellent.
Even the way we shrink wrap and safety seal and moisture seal. For example, probiotics. Probiotics, I think everybody should be on a probiotic. I think everybody should be on a fish oil, a vitamin.
Explain what a probiotic is.
Okay, probiotics are a strain of things like acidophilus and different things like that.
Different bacteria that are natural flora.
That's right.
In your intestinal tract. And when they disappear, we end up having problems.
That's right.
So this bacteria, we take it in a pill form. Mm-hmm. It goes into our intestinal tract, our digestive system, and balances what naturally should be there.
That is right.
And as I'm sure the audience knows, that when you're on antibiotics, it wipes out not only the bad bacteria, but it also knocks out the good stuff in your GI tract.
That's correct.
And in our GI tracts, it's like a war. It's like all these soldiers fighting each other.
Yes.
You have the good bacteria, you have the bad bacteria. And then what happens is when we take an antibiotic, we knock out all of them, and the bad ones now start to grow, and we don't have any good ones anymore.
Yes.
And when we put probiotics the good bacteria back in. Now we got more soldiers to fight the bad ones. Is that how it kind of works?
It absolutely does. So here's what's actually fascinating. So probiotics, great for the gut flora, great for our general system, good for regularity, things like that. But you know what's amazing? 87 or thereabouts percent, we don't have to know exact, of our serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter in our brain, is made in the gut.
Really?
So a healthy gut is a healthy brain. You know when people go, oh, I got a bad gut feeling there. You know what? There is something to that. There really is. I treat kids on the autistic spectrum with high-dose probiotics, up around 100 billion per day.
Interesting.
And I am getting turnaround results like I've never, ever gotten. Now I also do like MCT oils,
right,
which is like from coconut,
right,
medium chain triglyceride oils. I'll do fish oils. I'll, certainly do a lot of testing. But probiotics, I pretty much ramped it up. And I'm getting results that I never expected I would get in the last 6 months, a year.
Okay, so a patient walks into your office.
Mm-hmm.
They have asthma. They have allergies.
Mm-hmm.
They have sinus problems.
Yeah.
Tell me what the different modalities you might use to treat that patient.
Right. Well, first off, a full workup. So everybody comes into my office. We have an intake form, might be 12, 16 pages, I'm not sure. So I want to know everything about them. How do you sleep? How do you eat? How's your stress? What do you do for a living? When did this start? Was there a trigger in life at that point? So let's just stick with the allergy. Great time of year to talk about it, right? By the way, this is going to be the highest pollen count, but the short season because of all the moisture over the winter. So whoever's suffering, try to get some treatment on that end of it. But from a natural standpoint, manipulation, acupuncture, but nutraceutical-wise, anything that's anti-inflammatory, your fish oils. But then there's things like quercetin. Quercetin is in apple skin. Mm-hmm. And it's a bioflavonoid, and it actually, everybody's heard of antihistamines. Mm-hmm. So histamine is released from mast cells in our body. Quercetin actually protects the mast cells from exploding. So you don't get the itchy and the scratchy and everything like that. I use a combination of different things with that. And something as simple as this, Tom, as simple as this, nasal saline. It's literally like cleaning out the airway that has the pollen in it.
Wow, that's interesting.
Right?
What are they? Is it something you inhale or breathe in?
That's correct. I mean, you could use a neti pot.
So it's not like a Nasacort, which has long-term bad side effects. It's just salt water.
That's correct. It's physiological salt water, and it literally cleans out the passages. And there's so many ways. You could do it with a neti pot as well, but allergens, what you want to do is lower the load. So I even tell patients, if you are allergic to ragweed and you walk in the house, take your shoes off. If you are outside gardening, don't lay down and take a nap in the clothes you're out gardening in. Put them in the wash. Take a shower, because otherwise you're bringing the allergens into your living space.
Right. What about people who use air conditioning as opposed to opening their windows and screens? Which is better?
Well, for people that are allergic, definitely AC, okay? But do they have a high efficiency filter system? Now,
is the filter clean? Is it dirty?
Filter clean? Yeah.
Are the ducts clean? Right.
Absolutely. For me, what we did in our practice is when I bought my building, one of the first things I did, Tom, and I think every practice should do that, is check for mold. I spent a lot of money. They bring in these little air check machines. They leave them in for 24 hours in every room of the building. So we passed that. Then I have, the central AC and whatever. I actually replaced the entire system, but I had the ducts cleaned out, and I have them cleaned out constantly. Because otherwise you just recirculate dust and allergens.
I bet it'd be fair to say that most people rarely or never have had their ducts cleaned in their house, right?
I would say so. And I always recommend that, too. Right. Get your ducts cleaned. Right. So put your ducks in a row. But no, get those ducts cleaned out. Absolutely.
Okay. Again, on the next show, we're going to talk more about your anti-aging medicine practice, the hormone replacement therapy, things like that. Where are you located, Dave?
I have 2 offices. One is Rocky Point, which is our home office, so that's our building. And then I also spend 2 days in Wantor doing my practice over there. So, I've had some other practices. We were practicing together, and that might come back to fruition again too. But 2 offices. What I kind of like is I kind of have the northeast and the southwest covered,
Right.
and it's great. It's great.
Right. Now, I'd like the audience to understand that in most of our 4 offices, my offices, which are multidiscipline offices, which have many different healthcare professionals in them, they're located in Melville, Ronkonkoma, Medford, Hicksville. If we don't have a healthcare practitioner in-house, such as yourself, we're always on the phone with you guys,
Right.
and we're always. If I send a patient to you, it's not like I don't have to wonder what happened to that patient.
Right.
You get on the phone with me, you call me right back. I tell you what I found on my end.
Exactly.
I might let you know what my X-ray findings are. I might let you know what my diagnostic test findings are, my MRI findings, and then we constantly communicate back and forth, even if you're not in the same office as we are.
Yeah.
So I just want our audience to know that our team of doctors is not just the
Right.
people in our office, but other ones too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And going back to that where we opened up with this team approach, there's no better patient care than when you have a team watching out for you, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes what did I say? It takes a village to raise. I mean, maybe it takes a team to heal.
Right.
So I like that, and I like that. If I practice in my own little cocoon, I'd be missing out on a lot of great other practitioners
Right.
that could serve my patients as well.
Well,
And that's
Dr.
what we do, serve our patients.
Dr. Gentile, I'd like to thank you very much for being on our show.
Thank you.
And enlightening our audience.
Thank you.
And I hope they catch your cooking show one day and learn some good recipes.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you're on Madhouse TV watching us, stand by. We'll be right back. If you're on Cablevision, we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Finally, the time has come. You no longer have to choose between conventional medicine and alternative medicine. Today, unlike years past, your team of doctors from all disciplines are working together side by side for the benefit of you, the patient, to help you regain your health and cross the bridge.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tom Dow. I've been a practicing chiropractor for the past 32 years and have seen many things change in the healthcare field, a lot of it for the better. Most patients are used to going to different doctors at different locations, and unfortunately most of the time these doctors really don't communicate with one another about what's going on with the patient. At our offices here in Long Island, under one roof, most of our team of doctors on a daily basis communicate together about the patient and offer the best that each discipline has to offer, constantly communicating and constantly refining the treatment plans which are best for the patient. This weekly program, which you're about to see, will feature guests from both conventional medicine and alternative medicine, and we're going to show you how both disciplines are now working together for you, the patient. I'd like to welcome back our guest, Dr. David Gentile. Hi, Dave.
How you doing, Tom? Honored to be back, by the way. This is awesome. And I'm glad you're getting this out because this is really important information for people to understand. And I love the name of the show. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. So Dave, I know, Dr. Gentile, I know you're into a lot of really interesting things. You're a cook, you're a chef. You have your own cooking show, yes. And you're into some very interesting cutting-edge medicine today. Yes. Now, you're a doctor of osteopathy, yes. which is a primary care physician. Mm-hmm. It's a physician, but you really don't do primary care medicine,
That's
correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now, so you basically, would it be fair to say that you get referrals from other types of doctors because of the specialties that
yes.
that you really are your forte?
Yeah, you know, I've been very blessed. I get referrals only from two sources. So I don't advertise. I'm not in insurance booklets or what have you. I am referred by other practitioners.
You may have a primary care doctor refer to you.
No, even either another primary, absolutely, all the time. I get rheumatologists, orthopedists, neurologists, primary cares, PTs, OTs, chiropractors, right. massage therapists, right. everybody who I've kind of garnered a relationship with that knows I'm going to really handle that patient right. the way they want. So
you, with your training, I mean, you could be a primary care doctor if you chose to,
sure.
but you have much more specialized and things that you're doing right now, which regular primary care doctors really don't do.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So I know one of them, which we talked about on the last show, is nutrition, nutraceuticals.
Right.
We talked about you doing acupuncture, about you actually hands-on treating patients, which I think you have phenomenal hands. You actually treated me.
Thank you.
But one of the things we didn't touch upon on the last show was anti-aging medicine
yes.
or integrative medicine.
Yes.
Can you kind of tell the audience a little bit what that's about?
I'd love to. So, you know, I am diplomated with the American Academy of Anti-Aging Regenerative Medicine. And what I loved about that is for me to go into the anti-aging hormonal type of industry of treating, I had to be 1,010% correctly trained and confident to do it. And, you know, it has Hippocrates and, you know, above all else, do no harm to a patient. So I take that very seriously, and that's why I train so much, is to have the very best, latest science and experience to offer to a patient. So with anti-aging, it's not just hormones, it's a lifestyle, it's eating, it's exercise, it's nutraceuticals, it's good sleep, it's good stress management. And then yes, we use hormones when applicable, as applicable. But what I really want to do with a patient, Tom, is have them find their true vitality. And it could be any one of the tools I pull out of the box that gets us there.
What do you mean by true vitality?
Okay. It's the name of my book coming up, Finding Your True Vitality. And I do podcasting, The Vital Life with Dr. Dave. So to me, vitality is everything from health to even financial vitality. So if we think about it, if we want to be vital in a relationship, at a job, let's say you're a musician, as we see these musical instruments around here. It doesn't matter. A father, a spouse, a significant other. When you're vital in health, you're vital in all those other spheres.
Would you say another word for vital or another term might be the best you can be?
Absolutely. Love it. Yes.
The best you can be.
Yes. Yes.
It's interesting, and we're going to talk more about what you actually do with anti-aging medicine. But one of the models of healthcare that I've been using in my practice since I started, and which I actually invented and coined, was a thing called the Wheel of Health.
Yes, I saw that. I love that.
My Wheel of Health is a 5-spoke wheel. Mm-hmm. So anybody that knows that who's ever had a bicycle before with spokes in it, mm-hmm. that if all the spokes in that wheel are tight, the wheel rolls perfectly straight and it doesn't wobble.
Yes.
If one of those 5 spokes becomes loose, the wheel starts to wobble. That wobbling now will cause other spokes to come loose.
That's correct.
Which causes more wobbling, which will eventually cause all the spokes to be so loose and bent that the wheel will no longer roll and function.
Yeah.
The equivalent we use in our practice is those 5 spokes. The first spoke is proper nervous system function.
Love it.
That's where our chiropractors come in. That's where osteopaths come in. That's where our neurologists help us out. That's where our diagnostic testing to see if there's any nerve blockages anywhere come out. We want to make sure that our patients have the best nerve flow from their brains, down the spinal column, out to the body, which includes their organs, their immune system. So we want to make sure that spoke's tight. Spoke number 2, we want to make sure is the exercise spoke. Mm-hmm. They have to have good exercise. They have to be in good physical condition for their bodies to be healthy. Spoke number 3 is rest. Because if they're not resting and they have a sleep disorder and they're not going into REM sleep or they have sleep apnea, that's when our tissue cells heal. Mm-hmm. If the 4th spoke is mental state, proper mental attitude. Without the proper mental state, we're going to be depressed. Yes. What we think will come out in how we are.
Yes.
So if all those spokes are tight, that wheel runs perfectly straight.
I love that.
And the 5th spoke is nutrition.
Love it.
So I'm sure this is very common in your office.
It is.
You have a gentleman come in and you start to do a history on him. He's coming to you for acute lower back pain. He's got a herniated disc.
Right.
And all of a sudden now you just don't leave it at that. You don't just inject him.
Right.
You just don't kill his pain. But you're going to ask him, how's your mental state? Oh, well, I'm depressed. And that's why I eat so much, because that makes me happy, which is why I'm 75 pounds overweight.
Right.
And my back hurts so much I can't exercise, and because of the pain I can't sleep.
Yes.
So the audience can see now, just by having one of those spokes loose,
yes,
none of the other spokes are going to work right anymore. And when they come into your office, mm-hmm. tell me how you handle those. But you don't just inject them, you handle all those spokes, right?
That's correct.
Like we do in our offices.
That's correct.
Tell us how you do that.
So, at Oasis Integrative Medicine, what the 4 key things we do is we do pain management, we do weight management, we do age management, and we do brain wellness. So I wouldn't call those my spokes, but in that middle of that, a lot comes down to lifestyle, stress, inflammation, poor thinking, negative thinking, right? Like you said. So your philosophy is my philosophy. It's our philosophy.
Right.
You call it one thing, maybe. I just add a little
different
change
name for it.
And I love. I mean,
but you're treating a whole person like we are.
You have to.
And every single spoke you're taking care of.
So here's a great example.
Or referring them out to the ones that
That's
should.
right. That's right. So just say I do get the acute. For those that don't know what that means, that's a sudden onset low back pain. Maybe they were in a car accident, herniated a disc. So that's something we treat all day, right? So let's say you do a little manipulation after the exam and I did all the studies, and maybe I will use a steroid injection, but what I would prefer to is open up a discussion with the patient about doing a natural injection that has no downside like a steroid.
Right.
I even have practitioners refer to me specifically to do a natural injection, especially in athletes and things like that, because they don't want to, we call it denude the tissue. Too much steroid can break tissue down.
Right.
You know that. But now let's just say the patient's out of pain. Maybe I do give him a quick bridging anti-inflammatory, but then I'm going to move him on to supplements. I'm going to talk to him about lifestyle, stretching, ergonomics. I mean, ergonomics, I bet you, how often
Tell the audience what ergonomics is in case they don't know.
Yes. So that's another thing I did train in, and it's a very important
I
part
have
of
the same-
manual medicine.
I was
You have the
trained
same
in
one,
that
right?
too, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a great thing. So I do corporate ergonomic consulting. So ergonomic is the study of posture and workload and things like that. And what I find interesting is when I practice in Manhattan, Doc, it wasn't the construction workers that were coming in with the pain. It was the stockbrokers, the bankers, the accountants, the dentists, the surgeons. Why? Postures stunk. Whereas if you're in construction, maybe, that's your body, that's your life. They tend to have better posture. They know it.
Not only that, they're stronger
Correct.
for doing the work.
That's correct. That's correct. But it's a great, bridge to health, right? When somebody comes in and you help them that first time, you open up a relationship.
Right.
What do you want to work on next? You said you didn't sleep great. Could that be affecting your immune system and your inflammatory system? Heck, yeah.
All connected.
Absolutely.
All connected.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So it's a great way to say, hey, let's look at some other things. You want to? We got rid of the back pain. That's easy.
Right.
That was the first thing we did. Now, do you want to really feel vital? What's
And not only that, but let's correct the cause of why it happened in the first place.
Right. Right.
Maybe you should lose 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start exercising.
Yes.
You know. Maybe
And-
you should start getting adjusted and manipulated to improve nerve flow to your vital function.
That's right.
Right.
That's absolutely right.
Because most people, I'm sure in the audience, are under the conception that people come to osteopaths for manipulation or chiropractors for adjustments only because of pain.
right. Yeah.
Dave, tell us about how making a manipulation or an adjustment can affect your overall organic function and health.
Well, I love it. So,
Not just pain.
no, and that's a great thing. So, both the chiropractic training and the osteopathic is really one and the same. We call it manipulation, you call it adjustment, but we've treated each other,
Right.
and I love when you treat me.
I'm still better than you, though.
You probably are, no. But I love swapping out treatments with you. So, and when we did the manipulation under anesthesia in the OR for
We were working
patients,
together doing it, yeah.
we had the best time because we got great outcomes.
Yes.
We did. So osteopathic and adjustments from chiropractic. You know, central nervous system, brain down, like you said, right? So we have this central nervous system column. And in osteopathy, we call it viscerosomatic and somatovisceral. And I'm sure you do the same.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the somatic is the body, the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and how it affects the viscera, which could be anything from the kidneys, liver, etc. So granted, if you have back pain, we're fixing that focused pain. But to just get a beautiful treatment to align the body's energy, to align the function of the body, can open things up. I mean, I've treated people with dysmenorrhea, painful periods, reflux, asthma, COPD.
Successfully with manipulative therapy.
Nothing else.
Yes, and we, as chiropractors, we've done the same for years. And a big misconception, and I want to make this very clear to the audience and whoever else is watching, that we as chiropractors do not treat those diagnosed problems. We are not treating asthma. We are not treating dysmenorrhea. We are correcting a condition called subluxation, which is a bone out of place pressing on the nerve. And that nerve now, coming from the brain, has a better ability to communicate to the organ,
That's right.
which might be causing that patient's symptoms.
That is correct.
So as a result of correcting the subluxation, bone on nerve, their vitality
Yes.
and their vital life force that should flow through those nerves is now able to.
Perfect.
That's what we do.
Well said.
Right.
Well said. And you know, even fascial strain patterns, right? So let's just say that patient came in and they had no musculoskeletal complaint. But on physical exam, I might go, you know what? This first rib on your left is restricted. Your upper cervicals are restricted. Maybe the fascia in your abdominal region is tight or restricted. And before you know it, they go, you know what? You know what? I get a full feeling real quick when I eat, and I sometimes the food doesn't feel like it's right. And I might say, well, you know what? We have a fascial restriction right in here. Let's work on that.
Right.
Or they'll go, you know what? I do get headaches, and it's when I sit at my desk for too long. And I palpate the back of the neck, and they go, ooh, that hurts. I didn't know it hurt.
Right.
We'll go after it. Let's fix it.
Right.
Let's get rid of that.
So getting back to ergonomics, for years we've been teaching people as chiropractors, which I'm sure you do too, that there are certain things we do every day which are destructive for our bodies and we don't even know it.
Yes.
Typical example is a male wearing his wallet in his back pocket. That's about that thick.
Yes.
So he's sitting all day like this.
Yes.
He's creating a wedge under his back, which is twisting his back, which now is moving bones out of place, which is now causing pain, which also might eventually cause organic dysfunction. Very simple. All of our patients, we see that. You don't take that wallet out of there, we're going to do a walletectomy.
What? Right here.
Walletectomy,
Yes.
or here.
Yes.
Walletectomy means we're going to cut that wallet, the pocket out of your pants, if we ever see that there again.
Yes.
Because I tell them, if you keep doing that and you keep coming to me, you're going to keep having to have the same treatment every time. So you're going to sit back in your car and knock out exactly what we just did.
Absolutely.
If you got a secretary sitting all day without the correct seat position, and her keyboard is too high, which causes her shoulders to come up, she's going to constantly be stressing her neck. And it's a simple solution. You either raise the chair up or you drop the desk down so the shoulder. So these are the kinds of things that you and I in all of our offices look for on a daily basis. And these are lifestyle changes which affect the way
I love it.
Right? Now, I want to ask you something else. Let's get back to anti-aging medicine for a minute. So, most of the public is aware of a condition called menopause that women go through at a certain age where their hormone levels, namely estrogen, drop down and they go through what they call the changes.
Correct.
And those changes can be many, many different things, which I'll let you elaborate a little bit more about. But most people don't realize that men go through a thing called andropause.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the comparisons and what andropause is?
Yeah, I definitely will. So andro is the male equivalent of menopause and definitely comes in at that midlife time and it is very unpredictable in most cases for male and female. Sometimes a woman could actually predict maybe based on sister's, mother, etc. But by definition, menopause is 12 consecutive months of non-mensing. No period is what I mean to say to the audience as well. And we could also check lab markers on that. Now, a male, it's usually symptom-driven. They'll come in and say, I'm fatigued. I have no libido. I've got brain fog. Everything hurts me. I'm putting on this little pouch in the middle. I don't feel like getting up in the morning. The last thing in the world I want to do is see a gym, much less go in it. To me, that's the first red flag for andropause. Well, technically, that's too far gone. I want to catch it earlier.
Right.
So andropause, all those types. Now menopause, much more in the news, but people, night sweats, crankiness, weight gain. But there's other things that go with these things.
And Dave, that's all because a woman's hormone levels now are dropping.
That's correct.
And she's not producing the hormone she did when she was younger.
That's correct.
Now all these symptoms start to happen, which is aging.
Yes.
A man goes through the same thing, and in order to make that definitive diagnosis, what kind of blood test would you do?
All right. Well, I'm known to draw blood, boy. I am known all over this island as the
Count Dracula.
Count Dracula, and I do get called that, and I do. But I say to a patient, if I can find something to fix, I'm not doing my job. Because if you have a symptom, I got to figure out the why. So that could be part of physical intake, review, blood work. I do functional EEGs, which we could talk about. We do so many different tests. We do weight tests. We do bioimpedance. I could tell people how many calories a day do you burn, how healthy are your cells, how much is lean body mass, water, fat, etc.
Right.
Bone density, things like that. So when I do blood work, let's just do a female because it's, and then I'll do a male. It's very quick. So I'll do all my normal CBCs, inflammatory markers, rheumatologicals, allergies, heavy metals, urine. But then I get into the hormone world. So I'll look at TSH, T4, T3, 3 hormones of the thyroid. I look at AM cortisol. I look at 2 adrenals called DHEA and pregnenolone. So our adrenals are a gland right above the kidney, and they produce all of our sex hormones as well as all the hormones that we need for life. So if those are burnt out from stress, we call that adrenal insufficiency, or I like to say in my office, you have raisinets for adrenals. So we check those. So if they're low on DHEA, pregnenolone, male, female, we replace that. If they're too high in cortisol, we bring it down. Now women, as we know, we love them to death, but they are truly a little bit more complicated when it comes to hormones because they have 3 estrogens. We have 1. They have a testosterone, we have 2 versions. But in the balance of it, they also have progesterone. So I test for estrone, estradiol, estriol. Those are 3 different estrogens. We call them E1, 2, and 3. We don't replace E1, which is estrone, because that's a estrogen of youth. So you no longer need it. You need it when you're in the childbearing years. So I'm not going to give that because it's a waste of effort. Mm-hmm. E2, estradiol, E3 are protective, cardiovascular protective, bone protective, brain protective, skin protective. Then what I do is I like to give women a little bit of testosterone if they are low, which gives them brain clarity, energy, weight loss, libido.
So you mean to tell me, Dave, that women actually are producing testosterone naturally?
Absolutely.
I'm sure most of the audience was not aware of that.
Right, right. Now, granted,
it's vital. It's vital for their vitality, right?
Without a doubt. I have women who
but
came
in small doses, not crazy doses.
Very small doses.
Right.
I have women that came in with the diagnosis of depression. What was it? Low testosterone.
Wow, that's interesting.
You don't need Prozac, you don't need Paxil if you have the right answer.
Wow.
A little topical testosterone cream turns them around.
So I know some anti-aging medicine doctors, they focus mainly on, in males, with testosterone supplementation.
Correct.
And they look at growth hormone also.
Yes.
You're looking at a lot of other things. You're looking
Absolutely.
at DHEA, you're looking at other things which would naturally drop with age that you now want to fortify.
And you know what's important, Tom, is when I look at testosterone. So I have patients come in and, you know, rightfully they got the treatment they wanted, but I like to go a little deeper. So let's say a guy comes in on testosterone. That's not okay. You have to look at everything else because testosterone gets converted to dihydrotestosterone and estrogen, E2, estradiol. So now if you have a guy that comes in with low libido and he's taking testosterone and he still has low libido, chances are he might be making too much estrogen.
Right.
So I block that either naturally or with a pharmaceutical.
Right.
So those are called my cleanup cases. I have people coming in, well, doc, I've been on testosterone for a year.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Yeah, it's what is being converted into.
Right.
The estrogen-like substance that is causing them to feel not right.
Correct.
You block that, and then the testosterone effect is better.
Is better. And you know a huge one? It's called sex hormone binding globulin. So all of our hormones are somewhat bound. So they're either bound to albumin, which is in our blood, or they're bound to sex hormone binding globulin, which is 100 times stronger of a binding.
Right.
So what I'll do is on a back of a piece of paper when a patient's in for a consultation, I'm going to draw what looks like a Pac-Man.
Right.
Then I show the receptors. So let's just say we'll take a testosterone molecule, right? So testosterone molecule can only go to a testosterone receptor. Nobody else is going to recognize it.
Right.
But if the sex hormone binding globulin comes in, engulfs it like a Pac-Man in the old days, it's no longer a valid molecule. So we bring that down. And you know what the treatment for that is?
What's that?
Zinc glycinate. 15 milligrams 3 times a day.
Wow.
Now, is that tough? It's easy.
And that's an oral supplement, you
That's
take,
it.
and that unblocks the channel so it can bind again.
Big.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So, anti-aging medicine does not prevent you from dying.
No.
It just slows down the process
Yes.
and of aging,
Yes.
and it tries to bring your hormone levels back to where they were in a normal therapeutic range
Yes.
when you were younger.
Well, if you notice at the beginning of the show, I said pain management, age management, weight management, brain wellness.
Age management. Right.
Right? So I like the word management, and I specifically chose those words very carefully because I think anti-aging has a poor connotation.
Right.
What I'm trying to do is make my patients vital, give them the best years of their life. There are no guarantees to 120, 130, 150.
Right.
But if I can make you as vital as possible, it doesn't matter if you only make it to 100, does it? Because you lived the life you wanted to live. So that's managing.
Right.
Even with age, right? Or weight. I want to manage weight. I don't want to say weight loss. Go get a book. Go get that. We want to manage your weight because if you lose weight and you don't maintain it, you're not managing it.
Right.
And then you get the yo-yo effect, right?
And I tell my patients all the time that give me a diet. They go, give me a diet, give me a diet, give me a diet. I'm like, well, I can give you a diet, but it won't work.
Yes.
Because I tell them diets don't work.
That's right.
Learning how to eat the right things and changing your lifestyle and managing what goes in your mouth and the nutrients you take with what goes in your mouth.
Absolutely.
That'll make a long-term, lifetime change.
Yes.
And not just lose 60 pounds in 3 months. You see the commercials all the time, and 95% of those people gain it back in 3 months.
And then the second, third, fifth, 10th time becomes harder to lose.
Exactly,
That's
because your
that
metabolism
yo-yo.
changes.
People ruin their metabolism. So I do have issue with diet books that aren't founded in science, supplements that, you go into a retail store with your heart open, help me, and you have an 18-year-old bubblegum chewing clerk that goes, you need this, this, and this. Well, how do you really know that patient needs this, and that?
Right.
Do you have a medical degree? Did you look at their blood work? Did you consult with a nutritionist? How do you know that product A, C, F, and G happen to be the right one?
Yeah, they're guessing, and they're trying to sell their book.
That's correct. That's right. That's right. That's so true.
All right, so Dave, you're in Rocky Point, right, in Levittown?
Rocky Point and Wantaw. So I have two offices. Oasis Integrative Medicine is my practice. OasisMedicine.com. If people want to go, there's advice, ergonomics, recipes, cooking tips, videos, podcasts, you name it. And it's a good way for people to get a hold of us. We welcome people to go listen to these podcasts, learn something, explore the site. And I'm always available. There's a link to find me. There's a link to find my office manager. We like to start the relationship early with a patient.
Great. And Dave is always available in our 4 offices.
Yes.
We're always on the phone with Dave, consulting with our patient base. So any of the audience who comes to us, they can be assured that we're connected with Dave. And we're not guessing what he's doing, and he's not guessing what we're doing.
That's correct.
Our team works together.
That's right. That's right.
Dave, thanks very much for being our guest, and we'll definitely have you back soon.
Thank you.
Okay? And for those of you in the audience, thank you very much for watching our show. It was a pleasure, and we'll have many more exciting guests in the future from many different disciplines to help you get the team to you and help you cross the bridge. Thank you.